I don't want to give up the top position for anything, so if I want to go from side control or knee ride to mount, I won't progress to mount until I get at least one underhook. So it's like, once I get to mount, really hard for me to hold this unless I have underhooks already, right? So I want to get to mount with at least one. That'll make my job a lot easier. But if I'm going side control to mount, I'll always go like a little knee on the hip. I never like knee ride, just like trying to smash his sternum or anything. I just put a little knee up on the edge of his hip. And now I'm basically trying to get this arm as high as I can, even before I get to mount. So obviously we want to eventually like bicep to here. So no matter where his arm is, if it's here, if it's like tucked in or whatever, I'm trying to get my shoulder as close as I can to his elbow. So even if he's framing, I'll kind of choke myself a little bit just to get my shoulder right next to his elbow. And then I'll drive through my knee like all the way up as high as I can. Bring the knee across again. And I try and really like pull Jess's arm across as close to his ear as possible. I might even be walking my left hand a little bit deeper here as well. So we get that good pinch. I'm moving the head to the arm and the arm to the head at the same time. So by the time I get to mount, we end up in quite a high mount here, which is okay. Because as he starts defending and bridging and stuff like that, at least I'm nice and high so I don't get disrupted as much. But the problem now is getting my head in place without making myself weaker, as in like I never use the back of my head to try and push against his arm. Super weak, like I'm just using the muscles on the back of my neck against Jess's like lats and shoulder and stuff. It's like obviously that's, if he's kind of half switched on or bigger than me or same size, it's like pretty rare that that's going to work for me. So once I get the bicep to the ear, I'm trying to cross my arms as much as I can. I'll lift his head, and then I put my head right next to the spot where I want it to go. I don't worry about being over his chin or anything, so I'm going to drop my forehead straight to the floor to lock the arm in place. So just kind of wait at that section where we get the arm up and put our head in place, so we'll look more at the detail of finishing and stuff. But so if we go side control, I put my knee up just on the near side hip so he can't re-guard. I use that to now like work my shoulder into place, and even if Jess keeps this pretty strong, I'm driving through my feet and my shin to start working the arm up. So as I work it up, we'll look at this from mount as well, but as I work it up, I want to keep my chest and my head nice and low, because you can see there's a big gap underneath my armpit. Maybe Jess just starts to swim underneath and I lose my underhook, right? So the way I do it is I'll drive up, keep my head low, and my chest just scrapes along his chest until I bring my knee right across the hip. And then now I'll start to walk it across, and I'm moving, you see from here, I'm not like walking the arm, I move my whole body. So like I'm connecting my torso to his elbow through my shoulder, and I move my whole body to move his one arm. So that's how we can generally set up against people who are stronger or bigger, or even if they're smaller than us. This way you can just really bully them, and then you can make them do whatever you want. So I'll get the hands kind of crossed here, take a nice high mount, and then I'll start to lift his head off the floor, and I work my chest across so I can move my head into place. Like I said, as much as possible, I'm trying to avoid like moving my head like this and like trying to weasel it into place. So it's going to be super weak. So I want to kind of lift his head, I move my whole chest and body, so now I can drop my head to the floor, and that's how we lock that arm in. So if we were to look at it from like from mount, whether it's this side or I'll show you the other side, the other guys. So same kind of thing. I want to get under his elbow with my shoulder. So elbow to elbow. If Jess is like clamping his elbow tight, this isn't going to be enough for me. Especially if I'm walking up, I might be able to walk out and around, but you see that kind of opens up the spot underneath my armpit again. So it's like as I walk, sometimes there's a good chance that pops through again. So same kind of thing as before. I might put my bicep under there, move my weight so my shoulder comes under his elbow, and now I drive through the feet again to work the arm up. As soon as I can move that arm up to his ear, so bicep to ear is what I always want. His hand might be stuck under my armpit, so I go deep, take this out, come back in. But I keep everything low, my head's low, my chest is low, and then same thing, arms across, I'll pick his head up, move my chest across, as I take my left hand out, I drop my forehead. And then we lock that elbow in place. So just go like 2 for 2 for now. You can kind of play around with it a little bit. It's not like mind-boggling stuff, right? It's like I'm just getting my shoulder underneath his elbow to elevate the arm. I'm using my whole body and my whole torso to push it up. So I'm not just kind of being lazy here and just like walking straight up and Jess's arm just magically appears. Your partner's going to keep it a little tight at the start, and then you can ask him to make it harder or easier, but really try and work yourself into position first. So now we can drive through, and I'm not so much like doing a little finger crawl. I'm just like slapping the hand up on the mat, and then I try it again, and I'm moving my whole body so my head will come over his head by the time I get the arm up all the way. So you practice from like that little knee ride and from mount. And then we'll start whenever we finish. But the biggest thing is move your chest off that chest and put your head on the floor. So we're not, like I never look away. That's probably the worst thing I can do. That's like the weakest angle I can make with my neck. See? So just have a play with that and we'll look a bit more at the finish. 3, 2, 1. Jess is a little strong here. As much as possible, I'm trying to avoid doing these ones as well, where I push the elbow across and try and work my head in. Here, everything is pretty tight, all the gaps are closed. I just don't have the arm as high as I want yet, which I can figure out after, right? We have little things we can add, like a smear of the chest to try and get that arm where we need it. But if I have this kind of control, and then now I'm taking my arm out to try and push this up, that gives him a chance to escape, right? You can get away with it a lot of times, but I just don't want to give them any chance once I'm here. Like, if I get to mount, I've probably done a lot of hard work to get here, and I don't want to really mess it up. So if I need just like that little bit extra, so I'm down here. So if we're setting up for mount, just don't forget we're changing our hip angle. So my left knee and foot is right next to his hip. I'll come back over onto that heel so I can get my shoulder kind of underneath the forearm and the elbow. And then now I'll just drive straight back up through my kind of left knee. And then now my right foot takes over to like steer me across. I can really get a nice time on. So yeah, again, avoiding this kind of stuff. If I can help it, it'd have to be like a pretty dire thing for me to switch to here, because I feel like I just lose a little bit of control or make a little bit of space. And then when the time comes when I need to drop my head, I'll like pick up his head, my right elbow is kind of moving him a little bit. And if I have to, I'll shift my hips and my chest. So the hard part is figuring out when we're on top of the chin. So here I know I'm definitely on top of his chin with my shoulder. So I want to get underneath that. So I can either fix it now or I can fix it in a second. So if I want to fix it now, I come back and I straighten. Like, so I still want that tension. So I straighten, I come back. Now I'm kind of under his chin with my shoulder. I make sure my left hand's nice and deep. I put my forehead to the floor. And then now all I have to do is join my grip and finish, right? If I fix that problem later, so like I'm on top of his chin, I put my head down, I still have to come back and then come back up. So you can do it either way, like both work, but just try and get used to feeling when that chin is on your shoulder. You can choke through it, but it gets kind of hard. And try your best to like come low and really work your shoulder into place under the chin as much as possible. But when we look at the actual finish, putting my head in place, as I said, I'm never looking away. If I have to look anywhere, I'll look at him, because that just keeps myself a little bit, my neck a bit stronger. But I'll either be looking at the floor or looking at Jess. So I don't want to yell in his ear. So when my head drops to the floor, I keep my forehead on the floor the whole time. Because what we really want to avoid is him swimming back and freeing. So as soon as I drop my head, I'll keep it there. To finish from mount, I'm going to drop my right knee back and kind of under his hip to get myself nice and low. And then my head has to cut kind of like a semicircle back around. And I want to touch my cheekbone like right behind his ear. So that means my head is almost going underneath the shoulder here. So we can get like a real nice clean tight choke. So if we put that all together, I'm under the head, I get my body into place. Here I've slipped my shoulder just underneath his chin, drop the head. I'll join an S grip at the start. You can go gable later, but I'll go S grip. I can use my forearm as a post if I need, but as I come off, I drop that knee, I look in, I set my head, and we can pretty much just wait. I don't really have to squeeze at all. It's my cheekbone touching behind his ear that pushes the shoulder in. The S grip helps pull my arm deeper if I, like on the setup. And then it's really just my head and my shoulder dropping low and cutting into the neck that gets a good finish. So I'm not really like squeezing, I'm moving my head around in towards Jess's head, and I'm kind of dragging my shoulder across at the same time. And that's how we close all that space. So again, maybe I'm on top of the chin this time, so he tucks his chin a little. It's like, I've got the pinch. I'll put my head on the floor. When I drop back, when I drop my knee underneath his hip and come back up, that's how I get under the chin. So I come down, come back up, and then we just kind of sit there. I don't really squeeze at all until the very end if I have to, but I'll sit there for a couple of seconds first. If he hasn't tapped yet, I'll just push my head in a little further and then pull the arm through more. Still no tap. I'll go a gable grip and start pulling that through as well. And I'm thinking more about driving my shoulder to my wrist to get that extra little finish. So I'm not like squeezing with the biceps or doing any crazy stuff like that. Just using my body pressure, like my shoulder coming towards my wrist to finish and my head pushing right in behind his ear. So if we look at the other side, so Jess is like tucked in, up. Both forearms are under his head, my hands are crossed and my palm down on the mat. I lift him up, I change my body position. So see how my whole chest moves. I've just gone under his chin. So if I have time, I'll even walk my hand a little deeper. Head to the floor, and I finish. And we wait. See? So imagine like lawn bowls, you know how you bowl it and it kind of curves around to where you want it to go? That's where I want my head to go. My head has to almost come around the shoulder. Once my neck and shoulders are in line, I cut straight back up towards the back of the ear. And that's where, if you do a good one, if your head's in the right spot, you'll feel their head really pushing on your cheekbone, and that's where we want it to be. So that means I'm never looking away. I'm not really looking flat at the floor. I'm looking in. I'm trying to like look right behind his head. So that's how I really get in there nice and tight. See? So see how we go? Just keep going 2 for 2. 3, 2, 1. Another thing, answering the phone. So I like it when people start answering the phone because they do half of our job for us, right? There's two ways. This is the first one that Jess uses. He's like, this is actually helpful for him because he's stopping his bicep touching his ear. I use my head to push the hand off and then just come through. It's a real simple fix. It's like, same as before, I'm trying not to use my hands for anything. My hands are, I don't know you guys, my hands and arms are pretty weak. So it's like, I have to use my whole body for things. And it's easier for me to like bump his hand off with my head and keep going than it is for me to like, let's try and like pull this off or like push this down or something. It's like, I just want to use my head, nudge that off, and then we're good from here. We extend, come off to the side, drop their head, and then when I drop my knee, coming straight back in. Another little detail for the finish, I want to keep my forearm as flat as possible here. There's like a big tendency for people to like start finishing, they need a squeeze and they start lifting this elbow up. That doesn't actually help me finish lifting this. It helps me finish by forcing my shoulder down. Because you think about the space in here, that's where his neck and shoulder is. If I'm driving my shoulder across and moving my head in, we really close that space. As soon as I start trying to squeeze, could be a gable, as soon as I start trying to squeeze and my elbow's lifting up, it's like I'm kind of keeping that space the same size, not actually shrinking it. So I want to keep my forearm as flat as possible whenever I'm finishing. So this time, as we walk the arm up, our partner's going to put their hand on their head here. So I can't get that up any further. So I move my head. Everything's kind of the same for the finish, right? Jess is going to be annoying again. Maybe we'll go 2 for 2, right? First one, everything falls into place, it's all good. Second one, Jess just straight up answers the phone where his elbow comes to the roof. So I clear that off with my head. Here, he answers the phone now. So this is where it helps us. When he answers the phone, he's keeping his bicep next to his ear for me, so it's kind of good, right? So I don't need to really do the extension with my elbows because he's done that for me as well. So now I'll put my head into place. I take a little bit of time to work my shoulder under his chin. This time instead of S grip, I go a gable because I need a little bit extra pressure. So I do everything the same. I'll drop my knee, move my head in, and I'm still trying to force my cheekbone right behind his ear. So I'll probably end up moving his hand just a little bit, but we'll see. So as I come down, I'll come back in. And we just wait. It's a lot of the head arm choke is just waiting. It's like do a slow 10 count in your head, and if they haven't tapped, then you can think about trying to make adjustments and stuff. But I'll hold it for as long as I can. Just in that same space, not even squeezing. If it gets close to 10, he hasn't tapped yet, then I start to jam my head in further, maybe pull the arm deeper, force my shoulder in a little more, push my head in again, things like that. It's not like a bicep kind of squeeze.
Would your preference be to clear it if you can answering the phone, or are you pretty...
I just leave it, yeah, I'm happy for him to answer the phone.
Okay.
Because if I clear it, maybe he's going to do something else that's better for it.
Okay.
The worst is he just like swings it back and frees his arm. Yeah. So if he answers the phone, it's like hand behind the head, this is the worst one that he can do. Because now I can get everything nice and tight. There's a big space for my head to come under the shoulder, which is kind of what we want. So I'm happy to leave this all in his hand. But yeah, I just go gable grip, that's the only change I make. The initial one, I can go S or gable. S is good because I have more balance, I have a wider base. Gable, not so much. When he answers the phone, I'm not as worried about getting off balance. So, and I need the extra pressure. So gable, pull it nice and tight, drive the head in, and then just wait for him to either tap or wait for that 10 count, and then I'll make little adjustments. Because like I said, answering the phone, that's where you really hear him breathing. But we're still getting a nice tight blood choke, so just keep waiting until we get there. I don't know how much time we got, but we'll see if we add one more thing at the end as well. See? 3, 2, 1. 2 for 2 first. But if Jess dismounts to like a side control to finish it, like we usually get taught, that gives me A charts to escape. Like it might work, it might not, but it still gives them A charts, right? So Jess sets up his head arm. So yeah, if he's in mount, he sets it up and then now he dismounts. I'm not going to wait till he settles his weight down and starts getting his hand and go like, alright, now I'm going to escape. I'm going to wait if we come back again. I'm going to be trying to do all the right things, like I'm trying to open my elbow and flare my shoulder out. Jess starts putting it in. As soon as he starts to dismount, I'll help him dismount. I want to throw my arm back across his upper back. I'm going to try to build up to my left elbow. So I really have to put everything into this one to try and come up to start to open this space here. As soon as I start opening it, Jess obviously has a good shot on my back, right? So I do a little kick back and put in a near side butterfly hook. He keeps everything tight, like he wants to finish or chase the back. It's like now we can start to try and re-guard or whatever, right? So, yeah. My partner's just going to set everything up from mount. As soon as he dismounts, so I'm trying to keep this wide. I try and come up. I might even step on his foot to now like work my feet in. But as soon as I come up on my hip and my elbow, the first thing I want to do is try and get a butterfly hook, preferably in this side. Because now as he tries to chase my back, it's like we can even start to sit up and then start to work from there. But the get up is like I'm trying to really force my way up and across, and you have to really like stomp and open and throw your arm back. And then yeah, if he's too close for the butterfly hook, do a little hip escape, place the butterfly hook, and then try and turn and face him. See? So see how we go? The earlier you do it, the better. So as soon as they dismount, you should be like, yes, now's my time to escape. And you either do or you wake up after. Let's see how it goes. Let's go 2 for 2 and then we can do some position stuff maybe if we have time. 3, 2, 1. Shot to build up and try and hit back and like get my hooks however I can. So, but it's better than no shot, right? My alternative is I just lay there and hope that he forgets how to finish a choke or something, right? So it's kind of like our one chance. Sometimes even if he's in mount, so he hasn't quite dismounted yet, if I can't swim back and free my arm here, my next best bet is kind of like pummeling my hand in across his hip, and I try and just always keep my elbow flared here. So Jess is trying to push in and get a nice tight head arm. I'm constantly pushing, but I'm pulsing it at the same time. I'm not just like fighting, trying to pull it down. I'll like pulse it and I'll be like trying to make little bits of space. I feel like this way we kind of get a little more room because it always wears that neck out a little bit more. So Jess is trying to stay nice and tight, and then he goes to like dismount and finish and get his head in. I'll help him, try to come back. And then the first thing I do once I get on my elbow on him is I push my hip back underneath him, and maybe even try to get my knee on the outside. That will help me as well. Maybe I can reinforce butterflies and things like that. Sweet.